and they leave the city defeated and broken. Sure, April and Casey had the turtles back, but the turtles themselves, they need some time to heal and rest. Now, before we talk about the farmhouse, let's talk about April and Casey. Both of these characters' storylines are kind of intertwined with the main plot. However, that's not to say that these plot points are bad. If anything, if it wasn't for these two characters, the turtles would have been alone and would have never saved the city in the first place.
For example,
April's storyline has been focused on for a little bit. Not as much as the Michael Bay movie, but enough to get to know the character. He has a big story about these crimes and how it could be intertwined.
I think you know just as much as I do about this Foot Clan, and I don't think you're doing anything about it.
And she's scared because it's happening to the streets of New York, the city she loves. It gets to the point where she's in trouble with the Foot Clan and gets jumped and needed to be saved by Raphael. But she also gets in trouble with her job at the point of her getting fired.
you're fired, April.
And the person who tells her that news is none other than Casey Jones.
Wait, hey, you just saved yourself an 8-mile round tripper.
Casey Jones in this movie is the best character. He's up there with Roderick from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. That's how good he is. But his story does the same thing that April has. He has his own agenda. He wanted to do good on his own terms.
You did your job, now get out of here and let me do mine.
He doesn't rely on teamwork. His mindset is of a lone wolf. However, when he meets Raph, sure, he makes fun of him for being a guy in a rubber mask without knowing he's a turtle.
Hey, what are you, some sort of punker? Huh?
Without understanding he's a humanoid turtle, he does think that Raphael is alone until he meets the rest of the turtles and April. He was watching Raphael because he thought he was a loner. And surprise, surprise, he saves the turtles' butt. The whole part with the gang in the farmhouse is to show the lowest point of the turtles. It's the point of the film where they don't know what to do. They left the city they love because they feel that the city doesn't need them anymore. They feel they're not strong enough to defeat the Foot Clan. But in fact, the city has gotten worse. The Foot has made progress with their crime spree, and Shredder doesn't know where he is.
He is still missing.
Though he abuses Splinter to tell him, but Splinter doesn't know neither. They also feel like they lost their chance to find Splinter, so they do their own thing. Donnie does get a little bit of a character arc, but it's more of an interaction. He talks to Casey Jones by also fixing an old truck after the party wagon kinda took a hit. By making fun of each other in insults in the alphabet.
You're the geek, Camel Breath. The Domehead, Elf Lips.
According to a deleted scene, Mikey was gonna hide his plane with Splinter's kidnapping. Leo is taking care of Raphael, and when Raphael wakes up, they forgive each other.
Oh, boy, we missed you.
Because of this interaction, Leonardo and Raphael do not fight in the trilogy again, because they know that their love for each other is more important than their disagreement. The same disagreement that got them separated in the first place. And sure, they will fight again in the timeline, aka the 2007 CGI movie. But I believe that that is because Leonardo leaving his family to become a better leader made Raphael bitter because of Leonardo being absent. But that's a story for another day. They become into a team. They're fighting once again. They're training again. They're still not whole. Leo is alone thinking about his father. He didn't listen to his father before, so he decides to meditate and find out Splinter's alive. And he tells his brother to listen to him because he knows his father is alive.
We all think he's alive. I don't think.
The fire scene is the most important scene of the movie. So important, in fact, I gave this part of the movie a dedicated part. It is part of the movie that everybody remembers. The part that makes the movie a Ninja Turtles movie is the scene where I fell in love with the Ninja Turtle franchise. Everybody gives Leo a chance to listen and
Now everybody close your eyes and concentrate.
finally learn Splinter's final lesson.
have learned the final and greatest truth of the ninja. Together, there is nothing your four minds cannot accomplish. Help each other and always remember the true force that binds you. I love you all, my sons.
We see them opening their eyes, knowing that Splinter loves them all, and they finally accept that they might not see Splinter alive again. I love the fact that we see Mikey is the one who hits him the hardest, just hits so close to home. But they finally learned the hardest lesson as a family, and now they know what they have to do.
It's time to go back.
Danny has a small but important role. He was created for the movie, but it's not to say he is new to this movie at this point. He's one of the teenagers we see in the beginning of the movie. Sure, he doesn't mug April O'Neil or causes the turtle any literal pain, but he is the one who causes the plot to move forward and what the message of the movie is. He has full loyalty of the Foot Clan itself. He does stuff that gets him in trouble, but he refuses to tell the truth when it comes to the outside world. When it comes to his world, he thinks that it's the Foot Clan. He tells the Shredder about the enemy. He tells him where they are, which is April's home. He steals stuff from random people and from people he knows like April O'Neil. He gets arrested and Chief Sternum calls his dad. Even his dad doesn't know why he's doing all this stuff in the first place.
I make more than enough money to provide for both of us and you're stealing. Why?
But he does know. Danny represents acceptance. He wants to fit in any way necessary for that loyalty. He wants to fit in, so he does stuff that he isn't proud of. He does it to not be alone. He still feels sorry for the damages he causes at April's place, but because he did it for the clan, he thinks he did it for a bigger reason. Until he meets Splinter. When Danny talks to Splinter, he talks about the clan is his home, and he has no one but his friends. When Splinter tells him the hard truth, he doesn't know what to believe. The whole time he thinks that his father is in the way, and the Shredder is the only one who's there for him. It stays with him to the point he runs away from home. He runs away from both homes. He hides in the turtle's place. Splinter tells him about Shredder's philosophy, and Danny knows the truth. When we see the Shredder for the first time,
he's been hiding in the shadows, he's seen things.
Trying to get April to shut up about the clan in the city. The only thing they hide from this man is his backstory. However, we get his motivation. He's trying to use misbehaving teenagers to recruit them for the Foot Clan. The Foot is not a random faceless army like the clones from Star Wars, or they're not robots that blow up if you hit them with a feather like in the cartoon. The Shredder makes sure the kids themselves do whatever they want and having fun, hanging out, breaking rules, but they have to do something in return, being a part of his army. He makes sure to tell these kids that the world hates them for being themselves, and the only thing they can do is rely on him for guidance.
You are here because the outside world rejects you.
Why does he want to do that? Why does he want to use love to manipulate these kids? What happened to him to cause him to do all these things? Well,
got the answer!
We get 2 flashback scenes in the movie about the origins of Splinter. He was a pet of Hamato Yoshi and became a dad in the sewers of New York. We get how Splinter knows how to do ninjutsu because of mimicry. But we also see how the Shredder and Splinter know each other. Hamato Yoshi had a lover, Tain Shen, who chose to be with Hamato Yoshi over Oroku Saki. And when Shredder kills Tain Shen and Hamato Yoshi, Splinter gets mad at him and scars the hell out of him because of his love of his owner. Saki doesn't know how to love because he never had a chance to be loved. I know in later incarnations we get the why, the how, and the buildup of Oroku Saki killing Hamato Yoshi and Tain Shen. However, in some iterations, Hamato Yoshi is Splinter. But you have to give credit to this movie to give us that characteristics of the Shredder. But I like how this is the reason he does this. He uses love to tell these kids who feel alone that he is there for them. When he gets mad, he makes sure everybody knows it. To the point that Shredder's right-hand man kills one of these teenagers who is trying to reason with him. He doesn't care about these kids, but these kids have the utmost respect for him because they actually believe him. The amount of power that he has over these teens,
It's crazy.
the teens don't know what love is compared to obedience. There's a scene in the movie where we get two sets of Foot Clan members. The ones with PJs are fighting with the Ninja Turtles, and the one who haven't gotten the PJs are the ones who are fighting inside the hideout, backing up their other master. And when Shredder's right-hand man fights Casey Jones wins. And the exchange that the Foot members have with Casey Jones beating on their master,
It's insane. You call this here and that down there family?
Casey Jones himself is saying that whatever the Foot Clan is doing is wrong. And this is the same man who's a loner, who has the mindset if you can handle it yourself, you can do it by yourself. Whatever the Foot Clan has isn't family. It's obedience. It's a commitment to do bad. And now it's time for the final showdown.
Almost done.
You better.
We get a showdown that starts with the turtles at home and the Foot arriving to ambush them again. But they're prepared because they're being once with the shadow and also getting hit by gas.
Gosh, I do hope there's more of them.
In the final battle, we have 3 parts of the fight. Round 1 is in the sewers, round 2 is taking place in the street,
God, I love being a turtle!
and finally round 3, the Foot top fight with some Foot and the Shredder. With the 2 minutes and such seconds, we get the turtles fighting like a family at last. We see how much they have grown as a team, as brothers. But of course, just like with every single superhero film, we get the villain is matched with the heroes with a different philosophy, or we get a villain that outmatches a hero. And that is no different from the Shredder. The moment we get the Shredder on the rooftop, you can tell this man is not kidding here. We also get that with the Foot Clan. But the thing is, they're inexperienced. Most of them have never trained in their life. And even if they did, the only experience they have is how to fight in a tournament. They don't know how to fight in the real world. When the Shredder hits the scenes, the turtles don't know who he is.
Does anybody have any idea about who or what this is?
They don't know why he's here. So they fight him one by one, with Mikey being the one who beats him the longest, not knowing that he's there to kill them for the things they have done throughout the whole movie. But when they find out they can't beat him, Leo clicks in his head that he could be the kidnapper of Splinter. So they fight him again, angrier than ever. But they're overwhelmed by the Shredder. He doesn't need any help. How there's still some teens willing to take the fall for their master. While Casey Jones may convince the Foot Clan not to do this because it's just not worth it, there are still some people who have the respect for this man because they still believe he's the father worth saving. Unlike another father, it shows the Shredder's manipulation. He shows how much he hates this family that came from Master Yoshi. It shows how much he uses anger to get to the turtle's head. And it does to one more than the others, Leo. I love how much the showrunner or movie and comic writer does this to Leonardo. They show how even the most responsible one of the family gets angry. While we get hints and pieces of the breakdown that Leo may have, seeing this breakdown when he believes that Splinter may be dead, it shows how angry he can get with someone messing with his family. We see how much he doesn't know how to control his anger. Unlike Raphael. Raphael learns how to control his anger because of the love of his family. He almost died believing his family doesn't care about him. But when he wakes up from a coma, he realizes that while he may fight a solo battle with his anger, he has a family that can be there for him because he knows they love him. But Leonardo doesn't think so. He goes for the attack on Shredder, and Splinter uses his life to make his brother stop fighting. When Splinter arrives on top of the roof, the turtles are happy to see him. But Splinter has to finally confront his past.
Yes, Uroku-sake. We met many years ago in the home of my master, Umato Yoshi.
When Shredder realizes that it's the same rat who scarred him for life, he gets angry and goes for Splinter. But when Splinter flips him around and making him hold on to the spear with his life, Splinter states something.
Death comes for us, but something much worse comes for you. For when you die, it will be without honor.
The ending of this movie makes no exception to leave with a cliffhanger. April gets her job back and Casey Jones learns how important it is to have people in your life. And he even gets the girl. While Danny can't fix his mistakes with April and his father. Even the misbehaving teens make a difference by telling the cops where to go to find the hideout and destroy the Foot Clan for good. The turtles get their father back. They're so happy to see him. After the fire scene, they may have gotten closure with their dad with not being with them and accepting that truth. But when they see him, the fear is finally gone. They finally have their father back and they are now a whole as a family. Also, the turtles say their famous catchphrase. The reason I love this movie is because it was my first introduction to the TMNT franchise. While some movies make changes to make people like the film,
You actually go outside in these things? What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
or they try to actually do what the comic does, sometimes they fail because they don't understand what they're making.
But let's not worry about all that.
This movie taught me a lot of things. It taught me how to be myself without anybody caring. It taught me how to resort with my anger. It taught me how to be funny.
Fight? Fight. Kitchen? Kitchen.
It taught me a lot of stuff that a lot of movies don't like to tackle anymore. And it gives a lesson that we would only get in an old movie like this. This movie teaches a lesson to kids that our parents are not going to be with us.
Forever.
That we have to learn from them and learn from their mistakes. This movie teaches how to be a young adult.
But one day, I will be gone.
It catches the turtles by surprise to have this conversation. They're young, but they have to learn one way or another. It sucks to have to live with that reality that your parents may not be here for long in this world. Heck, this movie is the reason I'm a fan of the TMNT. And no offense, but ever since this movie came out, we never got another story like this, except for The Last Ronin. So if you're gonna take anything away with this, is be with the people who love you for who you are. Be with the people who appreciate why you're you. And also remember about your parents, because they're not gonna be here for long. You may have people guiding you, like your friends, or your co-workers, or heck, even loved ones. But remember what your parents taught you, because they have also lived a life full of mistakes, full of pain, full of anger. They just want what's best for you. So I have a feeling the only thing to say is try to do what your parents tell you to do.
In conclusion,
I love you, man.
Good night, everybody.